I see them on the block with our passes, looking like they need oxygen masks.
Dear Father, I'm writing you this letter. Not that you care if you did, my life be so much better, but it's not, and it never will be. Don't ever think for a second it was this gun, cause you know that it was you that killed me. My whole life I've been living a lie. Why am I committing suicide? I wish it was you that would die. You little maggot, don't think I ever seen you.
Hey, what's up? This is Thomas D speaking, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. Not often do I discuss subject matters like this, but this one's been bothering me for some time. I thought I might get it out in the open and get it out the way. I'm not going to bore you with it, but I'm just going to be brief as possible. Basically, it's about relationship issues. And I'm going to put it like this. I'm sure everyone out there, including myself, have relationship issues. I'm no different because I just recently got out of one. The one I truly thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life with. It turns out that the girl that I was with was just the opposite. She was a liar. She used all methods, her own methods to get her way. And not once she thought about me, or even think about the consequences of what she was going to do. How can you actually love someone who you see right there and there based on her actions or what she's having, proving that she's just the opposite of what you thought she would be? I truly thought she was the most, one of those women who was so loyal, who would be there for me no matter what. Even though she was there for me, but it turns out it was just all just a front. I'm basically just one of them niggas that's off on the side and shit. And to me, I don't appreciate that, and I damn sure despise being taken advantage of. So for those of you feeling in my position, you need to check your woman, and I mean check her real good. Because you make the wrong move or say make the wrong decision, I guarantee you, they will step all over you. And just take advantage of it with every decision that you make. So after all that happened, especially from my peers that they just basically despised her, I made a decision to kick her out. Because I'm not going to be with a woman that my peers don't like. And if she was really smart, instead of going to her brinks by going so low, just putting me out there like I'm some kind of a dumb motherfucker, you should at least stand up to apologize to me and to everybody else that you caused. And that goes to all the other people out there who like to go dirty like that. Instead of me just going low like that, I just do what I gotta do and just erase her from my memory. So as far as I'm concerned, this woman is no longer my concern. And it's a lesson learned. I will never ever let a woman take advantage of me like that ever again. And I'm especially not going to take it from a woman who turned out to be a hoe in the end. I don't know if I ever going to be in a relationship again, but I will say this. If I ever going to be in a relationship again, there's two things that's going to happen. One, I'm going to look carefully and learn more about her. And second, I'm going to make sure that God help me make the decision. Besides, it is his choice. Only he knows who the right woman is for me. And God knows there's someone out there looking for you. So I say trust God and put it in his hands. Because I basically gave up trying to search for a woman a long time ago. So I put it in God's hands. And I think you should too. So, as a basic lesson learned, I'm going to end it by saying you need to check yourself. Because nowadays people don't give a shit and they're just going to step all over you. So I said, just check yourself and be yourself. Don't let nobody change you, especially if your reputation has been basically screwed as it is. Just be yourself and keep on going. Until next time, this is Thomas D signing off for TF Studios. You guys have a good night.
Haven't seen you in
I'm not going to make a big razzle dazzle over this bullshit. So I'm just going to cut it straight to the point. There is one thing that I really can't fucking stand right now. Is ignorant people. Ignorance in terms of people don't even give a shit. Don't even want to listen to what somebody has to say. Ignorant people who just says, fuck everybody else, it's all about me. Now, don't get me wrong on the situation. I can be selfish at times, but there's only times where I can only be appropriate. Or should I say, there's appropriate times where I can be ignorant for my own, I guess, for my own reasons. But when it comes down to something that's important to me, or something that I know is going to change my life, or have some kind of effect on my life, I learned to listen. See, this is one mistake I learned growing up. Because at the time, I didn't really give a shit what people said to me. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, couldn't walk in my shoes and say how my life was. Yes, granted the fact that my life the way it was because I chose it. I chose that path. I can be ashamed of it, but at the same time, it was my life. Whether I like it or not, I had to deal with it. You know, the one thing that I really can't fucking stand more than anything, in terms of ignorant people, is the fact that I'm sick and tired of me wanting to speak my mind, and then it gets from somebody else's reaction, it's more like, what the fuck? One thing I don't get is that every time I say something, especially if it's something important that I feel is important for people to understand, I'm getting this look like, the fuck you talking about? You know, for these past reasons, I've been keeping my mouth shut when I'm talking to people because it makes no fucking sense why I have to be silent when I know I have something to say. And everybody's being rude, everybody's talking at once, all that kind of shit. Well, hell, why can't I get my piece? It's like I can't even get my speech in, but at the same time, I'm tired of being discouraged. Now, the fact of the matter is, I don't need to be discouraged. I know I'm being me, and I just do what I have to do, but at the same time, there's so many bullshit that's been haunting me. Some things that I've been really wanting to get rid of for a long time. You know, I've been made fun of most of my life, and the worst thing that ever made fun of me was basically from a musical tone of some shit. I'm not going to go into details of it, but I'm just saying that it was the most fucked up, humiliating thing I've ever been through in my life. I say next time anybody wants to make fun of me in that particular way, especially from a musical tune, I say they're going to get their ass whooped. So I'm tired of me sitting here being an asshole, and the next thing you know, I'm so buried to the ground, there's not a damn thing I can do about it. First of all, I'll tell the devil to give me hell, because he's been through enough. He's done enough damage in my life. And the last thing I need right now is from the damage it even more. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm tired of it. And I'm going to put it like this. I'm so sick of this bullshit. I'm so sick of this fucking ignorance. I hate it with a passion. See, I get up early and I take it to the max every single day of my life. People say I go early and do all this kind of shit. I don't give a shit. I'm dedicated to what I do, dedicated to what I work, and how I want to live life. So you either like it or you don't. So you just love it or you just leave it the fuck alone. Either you like me or you hate me. So I'm like one of those people that just begging, just dying for attention. If I wanted attention that badly, that would be God's choice. If God wanted me to have attention, then he would know. So as a man, I've grown to realize that there's so many things I have to get rid of if I had to take it to the next level. I'm getting to the age where I need to stop with all this bullshit. I'm about to be 30 years old. I need to get it together. And for those of you kids out there who still think, yeah, granted the fact you're searching for yourself, but at the same time, you're fucking yourself as you go along. By the time you get older, you realize that all the things you've done, you're going to sit there and realize how stupid you were. And you're going to learn to show some respect. Especially for people that are so distinct like myself. So I'm just going to make this short and sweet simple as my advice to everyone. You be respected by the fact that you treat how you deserve to be treated. If you want respect, you have to earn respect. If you want someone to treat you in a very kind way, you have to earn it. Instead of just going out here with all this bullshit, just begging for it. Or I have to make some kind of, do whatever it takes just to get that kind of matter. That's a bunch of bullshit. If you want respect, love, and everything else, you have to earn it. And that's why I put it in God's hands, because if I know that I respect someone, I'm not going to get respect in return. Because it makes no fucking sense why I have to be such a fake ass nigga just making a living. I don't have to be fucking fake. So please excuse me for me talking this way. But at the rate that I'm going through, I just got to a point where I'm just sick and tired of hearing the same nonsense and the same ignorant people over and over and over again. So you have two choices. You either with me or you are against me. Either you respect me or you don't. Whether you like me or you don't like me. So either you want to be by my side or just leave me the fuck alone. Because right now I'm just really tired of people being contemplative about me. Because I'm not going to sit around here and just wait for something to happen. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've gotten to a point where I'm tired. So do yourself a favor. The next time you want to make an attempt to disrespect someone or talk that has no sense to it, you may want to think before you even think about opening your fucking mouth. Because that's going to hurt you in the long run. You don't like it when somebody treats you that way, so don't do it to them. And that's all the fuck I gotta say about that.
I haven't seen you in.
Thank you all for tuning in to Thomas Frazier Studios on YouTube and Thomas Frazier Studios TV on blog. Now today we have a topic that needs to be discussed in a way. First off, I want to touch on the subject on who your true friend is, and do you know who they are? First off, I want to get a big shout out to Miss E from blog for that topic, because when I watched what she said and the information that she provided, it kind of breaks you down only to find out or ask yourself who your true friend is. It just kind of reminds me back to my day where I've been teased a whole lot, or I've been taken advantage of because of the person that I was. I guess my level of understanding what I understood, I guess that gave them more of a reason to take it a step further, even though I wasn't that competent enough to be aware of what's going on. You know, to some cases that really hurt me as I'm growing up right now. In my late 20s, about to be 30 years old. And I feel like I haven't even got it yet. And I guess to me, that's a damn shame. So that's why for a number of years, I feel like I've been so, now not say distant, but more like cautious towards people. Because I feel that nobody will truly understand what it's like to be in that type of predicament. Or live the life where you're being taken advantage of just because of the person that you are. And how you retain life and how you retain information. Or I guess in put it in a more commonly sense, have the ability to understand logically. Now, I've been talking a whole lot about ignorant people. I guess it's gotten to a point where I feel like that it's starting to become much more of a hatred towards people because of the fact of what they're saying or how they're showing their ignorance towards me. As I say, showing their true colors. Now, recently I did a video on the case of the real fake people. Now, I thought I really touched that really well because that really gave me the idea that how much I hate ignorant people. What they're doing and how they're saying things to people. And let me just say this. I'm not the type of person that's just going to sit or stand here and just allow people to just step all over me. And I guess when I really think about it, I think it's about I was growing up and who I was living with. It's based on what I've learned and what I had to retain. I blame myself in part because I should have known better from a logical standpoint. Meaning that I shouldn't have seen this from the beginning. I shouldn't have had no business just letting shit happen. It's just standing up for myself and actually just do something about it. But because of my level of understanding was, I guess I was safe to say I was just too much of a pussy about it. I was too much of a pussy because I didn't have the ability to stand up for myself. And because of that, that's what gave him more of a reason to be taken advantage of. Now, if I had that ability to stand up for myself a long time ago, there would have been no reason for them to pick on me anymore. I probably would not have to be dealing with this kind of nonsense. But to me, it makes no sense why I feel like I'm stuck in the same position I was before. Do I feel ashamed about it? Yes and no. I feel ashamed about it because I should have known this a long time ago, but at the same time, as I'm much older, I feel like I got to the point where I just basically had enough of this nonsense. Enough of the bullshit, enough of all the drama, enough of everything. I guess after losing a child, it makes you feel a different person. And it just changes one's perspective of how you view life. Just because of something that came into your life and all of a sudden is taken away from you like that. So I'm going to leave with you guys on a very important note. Now, how do I know who my real friend is? Well, for what I understand for the past 4 to 5 years, I learned that a true friend will always be down for you no matter what. Despite what they think of you, if they still consider you a person, they still consider you someone they be down with, someone who would die for you. I mean, all that described above, that's considered a true friend. At times I still felt confused because I didn't really think that a true person would actually do something like that. But at the same time, I came to the point where if it's about someone that you care about the most, like family and your true friends, sometimes you got to take that step forward and make that sacrifice. Because in the end, you'll be known as that person who actually took it one step beyond and decided to do what that someone will never expect you to do. So this particular subject is very touchy and it's still a learning process. So I can't really say I got it upstairs already, or I got it all together already. Because God put us on this earth to learn all the aspects. And I think that's what God is doing to us, is that He's putting people in our life for a reason. He put people in our life I consider it as a lesson. So say, okay, this person was being ignorant, this person was this person was that, then maybe you should not be with this person. But on the other hand, the person that are down for you, who are really want to be there for you, that's to tell you right there that I need to realize that if they're going to be down for me like that, then I have to be the one that's being down for them. So that's why I give big thanks to the one person in my life, or two people in my life I should say, for making me who I am. And to me, they are considered true friends to me. Because one thing I came to understanding with is that they will never ever let anything happen to me. And same goes for myself. So I take this time and I talk to you. Do you know who your true friends are? How do you know which one is real, which one's the fake? And if you truly know who that person is, then I would suggest that you talk to this person and really see where their mind is at. And if it's not who you expected, then it is your choice whether you want to move on from that person or stick with them. I already know for a fact that I have to move on because there's certain things I cannot take right now. If they're not the one that I feel God put them in my life, then I need to move on from them. So I will no longer put this under consideration.
I don't see what all the hoopla is about prostitution. Reason being, we as men have been paying for sex since the beginning of time, since the invention of the wheel.
So before then, what did they do? Just gave the bitch rocks?
We're paying for sex anyway.
Yeah, one way or another.
Like I said, yeah, most people have to take a woman out on a date, quarter.
So they would almost spend the same amount of money if they just go to the strip.
Buy her, exactly, and that shit's great. Buy her steak dinner. And some women, they just don't have any respect when you take them out. They eat like they fucking paying for this shit. Yeah, I'ma start off with some potato skins, a couple margaritas, a steak dinner, another steak dinner.
I guess they feel like it. This nigga about to get something.
Goods and services, the supply and demand.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're paying for it some kind of way, buying earrings and shit like that.
So pretty much all women are prostitutes is what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying.
No, just all men pay for sex.
Prostitution is a thing of how you look at it. If you work with somebody and doing something that you necessarily don't want to do to gain money, you might be a prostitute in that sense.
So I'm a prostitute.
Yes.
So I don't want to go to work every morning, but I go.
Yeah, so you're a prostitute.
Yeah, because I'm only doing it because they're giving me money. That's true.
You're doing it because they give you money.
I'm a prostitute.
You know, but then again, if a prostitute loves the prostitute, is she a prostitute or is she in business? Is she an entrepreneur? I don't know. That's a question for you to answer for yourself. I really can't answer that.
I don't see what all the big deal is about prostitution, just like LoveChild said. Now, it is true that, prostitution has been around since the beginning of time. I don't know about since the invention of the wheel and all that, but I can say it's been around for a long time. I would have to say it's been evolving not only on the streets, but also on the internet, which to me I kind of find very sickening. I guess what I'm trying to understand, especially when it comes down to men pay money for sex. I mean, they pay these women just to have sex for their own pleasure or whatever. First of all, I don't even understand why they even do it to begin with. Is it for their pleasure? Is it that they're not getting it at home from their wives or girlfriends? I don't know. But I really don't see what the point of it is. That's like me saying I can't give sex at home from my girls, so I can go out to any girls on the street, especially a prostitute, and have sex with them just to get the pleasure or the kick that I need. I guess it's really sad because after you have sex with a woman, only to find out that you may contracted a disease of some sort, and then you have to go home to your wife, perhaps maybe have sex with her, only to find out down the road that she's sick or something. Then she comes back at you, asking where'd you get it from? Because it didn't come from her. Obviously, you have no business doing what she's doing, and she's the one that's faithful to you. So, I don't understand to this very day why men would do such things like that. Now, I don't know about B-Shad because, and I agree with LoveChild, not all men pay for sex. And not all women are prostitutes either. But he did put he did have an excellent point about what makes a prostitute. I mean, it can be anybody in the world. It could be everyday women. It could be men too. But they can be business people. They can be sports stars, celebrities. They could be anyone or anything, and may not even know it. You probably wouldn't know that person in the face and tell them that they're prostitutes, besides from them being on the street. So my advice is this: don't ever put yourself out there knowing that, I guess basically what the devil wants us all to do. Putting all this negativity, sex, drugs, greed, all of that, just to make us feel bad. But I came to understand on a personal level that I would never put myself and be with a woman, especially if she has a history of being up to no good and everything else that she may be up to. And I guess from what my peers were right, it's like I went way low to the ground from what I expected from a woman. And I learned never to go to that point ever again, knowing that that's gonna possibly kill me. So I consider that a lesson learned. And to all you men out there, man, if you think you can't get it from your girl, but you have the nerve to go out and get it from someone else, especially a prostitute, I would suggest you talk to your girl about what needs to be changed and what you want to do to make it better. But I wouldn't take the option of going out and have sex with another woman. Because all I can say is it's going to turn out really bad if you take that route. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to happen right away, but it's going to happen sometime soon, and it's going to hurt you in the long run. And then if you really don't want to work things out, just end the relationship. Simple as that. I think that's the commonest way of putting it. So I don't even know where some of y'all senses are at. And I can admit I can be a dickhead sometimes, but as I'm getting older here, I need to start realizing, stop being stupid, and start growing up, and be more surrounded with things so that way I can learn a little bit faster. That's something I learned, not necessarily to regret, but something that I kind of missed in my life, because it could have been something that I needed a long time ago, and it would have applied to me to the present. I just wish some of these girls out here would stop selling their body, and they're beautiful. They don't have to be wearing skirts. They don't need to be out here looking sexy like this. They just need to be happy who they are and get out of it. Because if they don't, it's going to get them killed. So all I have to say is, I just want everyone to be careful out there. And don't put yourself in a position that you don't want to be in. Because like I was saying before, the devil can put you in places that he doesn't want you to be. And then you ask yourself how you're going to get out of it. So you might want to think about that. Thank you all for subscribing to Thomas Frazier Studios TV here on Blog. Now, another subject that I like to talk about is something that was really, really strong to me. It's something I like to call the case of the real and the fake people. Now, I'm pretty sure y'all heard the song by TLC, The Case of the Fake People, right? I'm pretty sure y'all know the songs. But do you know what the meaning is? Do you know what they're really saying? I'm sure they're saying bye-bye to all the fake people, pretending that they're to be people that they're not. Now, unfortunately, it's not just the fake people it's going bye-bye. It's also the real slash honest people that's also getting the boot, basically. Now, let me explain. Not too long ago, I recently went on a show here on BlogTV, and they actually had what's called a radio show slash a Skype call. What happened was I managed to join the group call and participate in some kind of game where I, as a man, would talk to a woman to get her number at a certain limit of time. So I talked to this girl, very beautiful, very sweet voice, and just having a casual conversation, as I was talking to someone in person. I guess by the end of the interview, so to speak, I basically get disrespected. Now, how did I get disrespected? Well, first of all, most of them were laughing because over some phrase that I said. I do not recall what that was. I don't even want to know what it was. But it was so disrespectful that I have to ask, was being myself in that conversation with the woman a mistake? So what am I supposed to do? Just pretend to be some dude just sweet talking and lying to her, or just some other thing just to get her attention, or even just to get her number for that matter? Well, unfortunately, there's a problem with that. You see, God did not put me on this earth to be a fake person. God put me on this earth because He wanted me to be as honest as possible. Even from the most embarrassing things that happened in my life, I would still prefer to be honest. Now, even though she did not give me my phone, well, give me her phone number, I should say, but to add insult to injury, the next guy who was on the Skype call, I mean, not show no respect or anything, no disrespect or anything, but he was sweet talking her, just complimenting her, and she was all over him. I say within not even 5 minutes, she gives out her number. Yeah, they're comparing me to him. Now, I'm not saying he's a fake person, but if that's his true definition of honesty, then that's good for him. At least he understands what it means to please a woman, or how to talk to a woman properly. Now, I'll be straight. I'm not a pimp. I'm not a player. I'm not some ladies' man, even though I love women just as the next guy. And I'm not a hoe. You see, I get up early. I take it to the max every day. But yeah, I get judged based on my behavior, the way I speak, the way I present myself, and all that. First of all, who do you care? Why do you care about my looks? You know what I'm saying? Why does it matter to you? There's only one person that can judge me and tell me what I did was wrong, and that's God Himself. So for y'all there, and even the host for that matter, because of the fact that he was drunk, first of all, he was being an asshole, despite of the fact being drunk. Yeah, he's just laughing and joking around there, but to me, he was very, very disrespectful. All this over a fucking catchphrase that I got. It wasn't no damn pickup line, but he made it think it was. But what pisses me off more than anything in this world is that those kind of people, especially the fake people, are trying to shoot their way across. They're the ones that's basically trying to make better of themselves, just so they won't be embarrassed just because they're honest. First of all, something's wrong with your ass if you even think for a second that's the way to go. The fact of the matter is, you fake people need to be buried to the ground while the honest people rises up. Because it makes no sense why honest people can't, show any courtesy or give honest people a chance to prove that we're just as good out the was fronting. One thing I hate more than anything is to see all these fake people running around here. And I'm really tired of it. I'm tired of being fake. Not that I'm saying that I was a fake. I'm just tired of the fake people that's around me. I'm basically coming across. If you truly want to be yourself, first of all, you need to check yourself. Check yourself meaning that you're willing to be honest even for the most embarrassing thing a part of your life. I don't know what pisses me off more, the fact that they're the ones that's getting across, or the fact that people just don't give a shit. I mean, it's sad right now that I don't even have a girlfriend, but you know what? That's not important to me right now. Me having a girl and all that, that's not important to me right now. I got other things to worry about. And if I'm truly willing to pursue a girl, God will find, he'll call me. He will let me know if the girl I'm talking to is the one for me. I mean, he will put it out there. That's why I'm keeping my cell on me, like my boy Rep would say. Because God knows. God created us and he understands. Now anyway, back to the topic matter. Now, I'm not necessarily saying I'm mad at the host for pulling such a stunt like that. But if you want to do something like that, make sure you sober. Because what could have happened was, I could have easily yelled at your ass and disrespected you. And I guess what makes from bad to worse, what's that? I was at the point where I was gonna cuss your ass out. Basically cuss you out just for disrespecting me, just because I'm an honest person. And I don't see what the big deal is. So I'm not, instead of being mad about it, I'm just gonna pray about it. And pray for you. Because what you did was wrong. So the next time you decide to be on your show, just remember one thing. If I happen to be on that show, I'm gonna tell you flat out how I felt and what happened. And I promise you this. You may not like me in the end, but you know what? You're gonna learn to show more respect for people. Especially for the honest people out there who's especially trying to make it in this world. So with that said, enough said. I thank you all for tuning in for Thomas Fraser Studios TV again. Now the topic for the evening was, we always ignore the ones who adore us and adore the ones who ignore us. Now here's my opinion on this. Now we had plenty of agreements and disagreements, but I really feel that this statement is very true because I've been on both sides of the issue. Because I've been the one that's so adored and I've been ignored, but at the same time I've been ignoring the ones who adore me. And this is a mistake I had to learn the hard way, because I'm always bypassing the people that really care for me so much. Now at that time I never really understood that, because like I said, I'm just so much of a bookworm, but I didn't have the common sense to even understand it. Now I already know for a fact that having common sense and being a bookworm don't mix. That's what my mama always told me. You see, you gotta have one, you gotta have the other. But in today's society, what matters, you gotta have the common sense. I mean, even the stupidest of people have the common sense to know what's going on. And that's what really kills me. And that must mean I must be really stupid in that department. But I know that's not true. Because I know I have the common sense. But I also gotta have the comprehension of that. So it's really important to understand where you stand. One person that I was talking to stated that they've been on both sides of the issue, but at the same time they understand how they will make a change in today's society. Yeah, it was pretty interesting, but at the same time, now I gotta ask, how do I know this is gonna be possible? You know, one thing that I've learned is that me as a 28-year-old male, and I still have a lot to learn and to grow into, is that you really gotta be right there when it comes down to certain predicaments or situations. See, I can't be this man that I am, that all of a sudden I'm completely unaware of what's going on. So it makes no sense for me to be so stuck in the world. But then again, that's just who I am. But I know I can do better. But for most people out there, you gotta know what to expect and you gotta know what to do. It's like a mandatory thing. If there's a problem, you gotta know how to solve it right on the spot. And that's just the way it is. Yep, recognizing is definitely the key. So you gotta know what's going on. And also, to retouch about last night, that there was some pretty much arguments about being a nice guy, but at the same time being a-holes as well. Some argued that, yeah, it's good to be a nice guy, but at the same time, but you gotta be a real a-hole just to make it into society. I mean, that's pretty arguable, but at the same time, why go to such lengths? I mean, why go to such lengths of being an a-hole where you gotta do what you gotta do and be yourself? But like they say in today's society, you gotta play it rough. And one thing I took for granted, like from the movie Blade, where he was talking about the world we live in is just a sugar-coated topping, and there's another world directly beneath it, the real world. Now, do you also look at it that way? It's just a sugar-coated topping, and then right beneath is just the real world just waiting to pop up? Basically like reality's hitting you in the face? Okay, if that's true, then why would they hesitate to pull the trigger? And if that's the case, if I actually look at the real world, I gotta learn to pull the trigger. I mean, without even hesitation. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. But yeah, but it took me a while to understand it, but I guess what he said makes sense. But then again, he also said that some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. People try and they fail every time. That's just kind of stupid. Well, let me leave off of this note. I know that you are who you are, and I just want y'all to be yourselves for that matter. I don't want nobody to put up no front. I don't want y'all to be going to extreme lengths unless you necessarily have to. I mean, there comes a time in your life where you have to do what's necessary for someone you love or for yourself, or even for survival for that matter. But just remember one thing, you are who you are in the end. And I'm not going to change for nobody. The only person who believes that I should change is God himself. He knows who I am. He created me. So he has the right to for his opinion on what I should do. And I hope all of y'all out there feel the same. So please take that matter into consideration. Yo, what's happening? I want to thank you all for tuning in to Thomas Frazier Studios TV here on BlogTV. Now, I want to give my personal intake on what ignorance is. Now, ignorance to me is a person who ignore the facts, or should I say ignore the importance of life and meaning. People can be ignorant in so many different ways. The way I define ignorant is a person who doesn't have the courtesy to tell someone what's going on. And like what I was talking about in one of my previous videos, it's about a dude doing a radio call via Skype. And so he happens to be so ignorant because he wanted to put me out on the map because of my way of speaking to a girl and how I present myself to a girl. So his ignorance was the fact that he made fun of me because of the fact that I was being myself. And plus the fact he was drunk, yeah, that made him even more ignorant than he was if he wasn't. In my opinion, he should have stayed sober. One viewer that I was talking to said that ignorance is a sin. Now, actually, he's right, and let me explain why. Now, that's something that Satan would do. Satan would be the one who would just poison people's minds and say, no, you don't need to be hearing all this bullshit. You don't need to be hearing this. Ain't all important. You listen to what I say. You know what I'm saying? This is what's right to you. To me, that's fucking ignorant. Why would you let Satan put bullshit in your head that has nothing to do with the fact that you're trying to be a good person? That's just the opposite of that. Because all this then is nothing but pure hatred. And it just becomes absolutely ridiculous. Now, another viewer, one of my loyal viewers, talked about ignorance in a way of as human beings. Now, I wanted to respond to that because it ain't like we're human. It ain't nothing that dehumanizes. We are all human beings and we all make mistakes. Since God created us for us to learn how to be ourselves and be grateful for our mistakes. You know, the saying goes, you have to be blessed with more with your mistakes than we are with your successes. And I'm grateful for all my mistakes that I made in my life. And I can too admit that I've been ignorant in my life. I still have a little bit in me. But one thing that I do understand is the fact that it's the fact that I'm still learning. I still have much to learn, and I know you people out there still have a lot to learn. So just because you're a good person, then all of a sudden you have ignorance doesn't make you not human. And say you are human beings. I mean, of all the ignorant people, of all the crazy people, even all the, of everybody in the world, we are all human beings. We all make mistakes, and it's up to us if we want to correct those mistakes. So let me give you a message to all you so-called ignorant people out there. Now, you have absolutely no idea who you are hurting in terms of what you're doing. From you talking all that bullshit like it's nonsense, you're just basically ignoring people. That shows you that you're ignorant. So instead of you being so damn ignorant and decide to ignore all of the real possibilities going on, you really need to, first of all, you need to listen. Listen to what is being said to you. I don't know what's so difficult about listening to people, but and to me it makes no damn sense. God knows it makes no sense, and that's all what Satan wants you to do. So the next time you want to cause a little bit of trouble like that, don't bring it to people you know. Because all you're doing is causing a lot of problems and a lot of nonsense. And it's going to hurt you in the long run. One thing I'm taking into consideration is the fact that my ignorance is going to take me to places where I don't want to be. And I better watch what I say, and I better watch what I'm doing. And I suggest y'all do the same. What's up, y'all? And thank you all for tuning in to Thomas Frazier Studios TV on blog. This one's called How Well Do You Know the Opposite Sex? First off, let me just say this. I guess for me as a man, the personal experiences that I went through, I still don't know a lot about women. The only thing I do know about women is the fact that knowing what they want, what they don't want, what they like and what they don't like. And it's hard to pay attention to their signs and everything. Maybe a hint of something to come. You know, one thing I hate when men be talking about they know women like that. Their strengths, their weaknesses, when they do what they don't do. Yes, they think they know it, but can you really read between the lines of what they're doing or what they're saying? See, women have the ability to hide things. Hide things that no man can ever do. And I guess we as a man has taken things for granted. Because as men, if we really do what we're supposed to do, then there's no business why women should be suspicious of them, especially when it comes down to a relationship. Now, in my honest opinion, I don't think anybody, especially men, would know women like that. Because if it did, the horror would have been so predictable. I guess there's no spice in it, right? But I feel, as a man, I have a lot to learn when it comes down to knowing a woman to the core. Not only knowing them to the core, but knowing them to their soul. Yeah, even I have trouble with this at times, and that's okay. Because I'm still young. And when I get to a certain age, it's going to get to a point where I'm going to have to understand one way or another, whether I like it or not. I guess what bugs me was that not too long ago when I did a personal broadcast, I came across two people who was in, I guess, an argument with one another. Now their names I will not identify at this time. But unfortunately it kind of led up to some behavior. I guess a behavior that determines who's smart, who's childish, or who's being selfish, or whatever the case may be. But I just want to give you both sides of this particular issue. First, I want to talk about this from a male's perspective. Number one, the male character I'm referring to, yeah, he's a fun-loving guy. Funny, he always gets everyone. He knows how to make people laugh. But unfortunately, not everyone can take sense of humor. Some can be offended so quickly that it just turns them off or makes them go sour. And I guess in his case, he went a little sour with the female and didn't realize it. But the problem is that due to lack of experience with a woman, that just kind of throws things off. Because I feel if you really know this person, then you would know to the core that there's some things you can and what you cannot do. Now, understandably, as a young age, you just want to know life. And you're supposed to live life, and you're supposed to learn in life. But there's something we have to be cautious for. And we also have to learn when it's the right time and the wrong time to use our sense of humor. Or if we find anything that's considered funny. Now, speaking of which, getting to the female's perspective. Obviously, she was offended by this matter. I guess from her case, you thought she was being ignorant or selfish in that matter. Or being childish as well. But if you really read between the lines, she's not. Especially after all she's been through. I can understand this personally because it's about who she is and how she presents herself. And she's also a parent, which makes things 10 times harder. And you have to learn to be strong for them. So basically, in her case, there's no room for weakness at all. So she has the right to put her guards up no matter what the circumstances are. And from her actions, I can understand. Because that's something that we all have to live with. Especially when a child is in your life. Well, I don't know if this might sound true to all parents, but I guess for me, I've grown into a parental instinct. Especially when I see something that's really stupid. I mean, it's like a reaction. When I react, I react. And that's something I do forget sometimes. And I do need to take it into consideration. I may find this very difficult at times, but it's just that you really have to get to know the person and learning what you can and cannot do. I mean, I'm going to tell you from a personal experience. I mean, sure, I can live with a woman and I know what it's like. But one thing I have learned is that there are certain things you can and what you cannot do. And there are some things that women expect you to do. So if anything, to all the males out there, especially if you're in a relationship, engaged or being married, I'm just going to keep it in one simple turn. You better listen to your girl. Listen to everything what she has to say. If she wants you to do something, then you do it. It's all about loyalty, and that's how things work out in the end. And it's also about communication. It's not just the men that has to listen to the women. The men listening to the women also has to listen to the men as well. Even though we as men, we have to be the dominant ones in the family. We are the ones that have to give them the strength that they need. So we're basically the backbone. That's how we consider ourselves household, the family, if that makes sense. Because we have to be dumb enough to make the decision, hopefully that is right for the family. And this is something that I'm learning, and I'm still learning. Even though I have maintained that kind of status, but at the same time I'm still weak in some areas. So my goal is to correct those errors. And I may not be able to do it right away, but at the same time this is something we all have to take into consideration.
Seen you in action, sniffing up dope. Said that you was cleaning the bathroom. You thought it was stupid. I thought I'd go to the closet and prove it. So I found this gun next to the bullets already loaded. And now all I gotta do is just cock and squeeze it. Call the paramedics, they can't even stop me from bleeding. Mom, I love you. I never chose for this to happen, but it was either this or try to overdose on aspirin. Sorry it's so sloppy, cause I wrote it on a napkin. Like my heart, you probably tear it up and throw it in the trash can. You hate me, you never wished that I was born. It's my fault that you and dad are getting a divorce. If you never wanted me, how come I'm living on this earth? What's the matter, mom? You couldn't keep from lifting up your skirt? I guess I'm just a product of premarital sex. A white kid from the projects with 2 parents in debt. And every day's the same thing, makes me physically nauseous. Go to bed and wake up in the principal's office and try to explain why I pushed another kid in the lockers. Told my teacher go to hell cause she was getting obnoxious. I'm sick of my conscience, got a whole fist full of problems. Only this time I'm hoping that this pistol will solve them. I tried to do good, I even tried going to church, but all they wanted was for my girl to go in her purse and give her offering. Please, not even if I win the lottery. Is God the king or does he just exist in your philosophy? Well, if he does, then I see you in hell. Say my prayers, yeah, I might as well just speak to myself, cause I get the same response when I speak to my father. I ain't no punk, but he treats me like he thinks I'm his daughter. This is it, mom, I hope you get this letter, dad. Sincerely yours, the son you wish you never had. Keep your head up to all my peoples in hard times. Remember that at night that even the stars shine. Keep your head up, you come too far to stop now. To my brothers that's behind bars and locked down, keep your head up. My sister keeps swearing that life hurts. You beautiful, you ain't gotta keep wearing them tight skirts. Keep your head up when you feel like blowing your brains out. Ain't gotta wait for tomorrow, your life could change now.